In particular, he has a tremendous fear of white women who have encouraged women's social advancement in Japan and promoted feminism in Japan. The fear of white women is so great that the sight of a white woman causes a panic disorder.
White beach! White beach! White beach! White beach! Oh!
Today's feature is about the Japanese, who are listed as endangered species, and there are only a few hundred of them left alive on the planet today. Once upon a time, there were over 100 million Japanese, but today there are only a few left. This is Ken Suzuki, a Japanese man who is currently being cared for next to a panda in a protected area of the Japanese Autonomous Region in China. It is said that the development of technology is the main reason why the Japanese population has become so phenomenally low and designated as an endangered species. Especially with the development of the VR world, life in the virtual world has become more important than in the real world, and many Japanese people have come to enjoy romance with anime characters in the virtual world rather than romance in the real world. Because of this, the population has drastically decreased. We asked Mr. Ken Suzuki, an endangered species of Japanese, about this.
リアルな人間は定期的にうんこをしたり、変なところに毛が生えていたり、朝口が臭かったり、突然不機嫌になったり、やっぱりバーチャルな女性の方がいいですね。
Also, the rapid decrease of the Japanese population. It is obvious that the Japanese population has become less sexually active.
キスをしたり、性交渉することはバクテリアの交換になりますからね。細菌を交換することになります。とても不衛生で病気のリスクになります。とても不潔ですね。気持ち悪い。
In Japan, sex services other than penetration were permitted at brothels, which led to the development of a wide variety of play other than penetration, and the image of penetration as an illegal act. This has led to the general public avoiding the act of penetration. When the Japanese population began to decline, many couples were still trying to have children, and it is said that those couples who were unable to have children were undergoing infertility treatment. However, according to data from doctors at the time, the most common cause of infertility among couples seeking infertility treatment was sexlessness. So, it can be said that from this time on, we were already on the road to extinction. In addition, fantasy-laden adult videos were mass-produced. The lack of proper sex education was also a major cause. Ken-san here also doesn't show any interest in sexual intercourse with women. The Chinese staff at the zoo are satisfying Ken's sexual desires by projecting images of a crowded train. Looking back at the past, we first saw a rapid increase in the number of middle-aged single men like Ken Suzuki in Japan. The rapid advance of women in society accelerated the isolation of low-income middle-aged men. The marriage rate had decreased dramatically as more women enter the workforce and earn as much or more than their male counterparts. A decade ago, before women's advancement into the workforce, marriage for women meant marrying a man with higher income than their own. Ascending marriages was a norm, and many men were the object of women's marriages. However, as women entered the workforce, the Japanese economy stagnated and the number of low-income men increased. The number of marriages had plummeted dramatically. Since women always tended to prefer men with higher income and education than themselves, there was no longer any demand for low-income men, and the more money women made, the less they had to marry, leading to a downward spiral. As a result, middle-aged, low-income contract workers like Ken Suzuki were not in demand from women. They immersed themselves in a virtual world, dreaming of romance with beautiful women in their 20s. Men like Ken Suzuki have lived their lives being looked down upon by women and subjected to discriminatory words. They are afraid of real women and lock themselves in their rooms at the sight of women. In particular, he has a tremendous fear of white women who have encouraged women's social advancement in Japan and promoted feminism in Japan. The fear of white women is so great that the sight of a white woman causes a panic disorder.
White bitch! White bitch! White bitch! White bitch!
In order to prevent the extinction of the Japanese, the Chinese government is promoting a policy of protecting the Japanese in protected areas. Currently, it is possible to observe the Japanese in the protected areas. However, Japanese people tend to commit suicide as soon as they feel stressed. We are calling on all visitors to use caution in the protected areas. First, do not speak to them in Japanese. Japanese people think they have to praise foreigners when they speak Japanese, saying, your Japanese is very good. They feel much stress because they have to lie. Also, if you try to speak to them in English, they will run away and say, I don't speak English. The best thing to do is to not talk to them. Don't say anything, just point the camera at them. They will be happy to give you a smile when you point the camera at them. In addition, Japanese people are generally confined to their rooms all day long. The only time they go outside is when they eat. Even if you are lucky enough to talk to a Japanese person, be careful not to look them in the eye. Japanese people are not good with eye contact. The most important thing to keep in mind is Japanese tatemae. Japanese people are always considerate of the other person. Even if they want to end the conversation with you and go back to their room, it's very difficult for them to say this. If a Japanese person compliments your watch in the middle of a conversation, it means it's time to go home. Please help us prevent the extinction of the endangered Japanese people. Thank you very much.
Meshida-san, shut the fuck up!
Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please check out my Patreon page too. And if you are in Tokyo, please come to my solo stand-up comedy show. So, see you soon. Bye bye.